The first production car in history, the Ford Model T, was itself a work of art. Over 100 years later, we've evolved into cars that some would call art in motion. That's how some enthusiasts describe a unique collector's car nicknamed Lowrider. As America's Now contributing correspondent Yakenda McGahee found, for the most serious collector, lowriding is neither a novelty nor a hobby, but a way of life.
There's something to be said about people and products produced in sun-kissed Southern California.
Southern California, or the lower left as we call it. The whole world has a fascination with Southern California, the things that come out of Southern California. You know, the tattoo culture, the skate culture, the surf culture, just the lowrider culture.
Lowriders. Might he be referencing those slow-rolling, high-jumping, low-hanging, bass-bumping wonders on wheels? We wondered about the fascination with these charismatic cars, a fascination that has spawned an entire cult following.
Hey, ¿qué pasa? It's Javier, the X-Man.
Come on out here, join us. Beautiful Chula Vista. It's the X-Men's 10th annual Cruise for the Cause car show. We got the lowriders, the customs, the hot rods.
Cars may be a hobby for some, but when it comes to lowriders, it's a cultural identity. And enjoy the beauty and spirit of lowrider art made right here in America.
But for many Americans, low riding is an enigma.
And she's bad, so I might holler. She moves up and down like a six-row Impala.
One often associated with hip-hop music or street gang life.
Because a lot of time the lowrider culture is associated with the gang culture. People that aren't part of the culture have only seen it in movies or TV. So I wanted them to give them a venue where they can come and see it in person.
And this is the venue, a museum of fine art in the Southern California beach town of Oceanside.
And welcome to the Oceanside Museum of Art. It's Cruising Califas, the art of lowriding.
The exhibition, also known as Cruising California, presents an opportunity for visitors to take a joyride through history.
And that was Mr. Valadez's coffin that he was buried in. So painted to match his car.
And these are their historians, David and Carlos C. DeBaca, two siblings who not only share the same last name, but share the same love for lowrider cars and lowrider culture.
We've had people come from Europe, Japan, people who have never seen a lowrider, and their eyes light up when they see these cars and the artwork.
Merc called Nostalgia Sleeper.
For nearly 40 years, David C. DeBaca watched as this car culture evolved into a cultural phenomenon.
Well, the lowriding culture probably began early 1900s when the charros would dress their horses up and walk around the plaza to attract the attention of girls. Charros were like the Mexican cowboys. Well, that same kind of theme carried forward all the way up until probably about the 1940s, when Chicano and Latino servicemen were returning from the war. They started buying Chevrolets because maybe they couldn't afford brand new cars, and they started dressing them up. They started cruising the streets, cruising the boulevard, kind of the same way these old charros would. And the same way these horses would do little horse tricks, the guys would do tricks with their lowriders, hit the switches.
DeBaca says lowriding enthusiasts are akin to modern-day cowboys. Prancing through the streets, they've traded the big hats for big wheels, horses for horsepower. In essence, this became the poor man's pricey car, the very antithesis of hot rods.
We had hot rodders who were into speed, going fast, maybe raising the car up a little bit in the back and dropping it in the front. The lowrider culture said, hey, I want to be a little different, so I want my car low and slow.
And so began the lowriding lifestyle.
High bars and low cars, that's what we ride.
So how low can they go? In the land of lowriders, all the way to the floor. This nickel, which is just about an inch, demonstrates that there's less room than that between the bottom of this car and the surface of the ground. While that's good for the cool factor, it's bad for driving, which is why these car enthusiasts conceived the idea of adding hydraulics to these cars, so you can get high when you're driving and lay it low when you're relaxing. No doubt these cars have personalities of their own, but how does one distinguish these low rides from any other custom ride?
Basically, what you're going to see is bright colors, non-stock colors, candy purples, blues, pinks.
All right, there, the flake, you know, you look at it, look at the flake and it's just dancing with the sun.
The bright colors come from the indigenous past that many Chicanos, Latinos come from. There's so many images that come from our history. So you're gonna find that in a car done by a lowrider.
So yeah, dude, one of the reasons I named this car Linda Chicana, that's my daughter Melina there.
It's like having a blank canvas, you know? You know, when you put stuff like this on it, you make it completely unique.
So you got a lot of flash.
And in this culture, one man's flash is another man's viewing pleasure. Because whether it's an artist imitating life or an original work of art, every car, every part tells a story, shares a history. And every piece in this museum demonstrates there is truly an art in low riding.
People wanted to just make their cars unique, and pinstriping was a way of doing it. Pinstriping is a fine line embellishments that dress up the car, kind of a free-form art.
That's captivated some subcultures across the world.
There was an artist that caught my eye out of Japan. I flew him out here to pinstripe my car. Just did it with one shot and knocked it out. Yeah, amazing artist.
Who create breathtakingly lifelike imagery. But at some point along the way,
I'm going to be tattooing a black and gray realism style.
Pretty pictures on cars evolved into pretty pictures on people.
We like showing off our nice artwork, just like we do on the walls. Everything is just one big art show for us, you know? You go to a car show, either people are showing off their cars or showing off their tattoos.
There's so much to the angles of the body and how it looks, especially when a lowrider's laid out, and the colors and the angles.
Very, very addictive, I guess. You know, we're just have that in our nature to be, you know, addicted to beauty.
David knows a thing or two about addiction.
I would watch a program called Chico and the Man.
Because he's been hooked from the first moment she drove into his life.
1, 2, 3, and.
In the opening credits, Gypsy Rose, the '64 Impala owned by Jesse Valadez, would come out and it would turn around this corner. But I watched those opening credits once a week. I sat there just to see Gypsy Rose turn that corner. And here it is today. We've got a love seat in the back, really sharp looking, flowers and some drinks for the ladies. You could tell back in the days this probably was one fun car. I mean, can you imagine 1974, 1975 cruising this down the boulevard? I wish I was there.
Like it's evolving into like this, you know, tattoo, lowrider, pinstriping, paint. It's all like coming full circle.
So in essence, low riding is a movement. Not about glorifying gang life, but preserving an art form. One born during turbulent times when Chicanos struggled against national oppression and cultural repression. Lowriding is also a meshing of many different artistic disciplines with so many similarities, which has come to create a sort of brotherhood. Even brought a bit of celebrity.
But this is what it's all about, to show off, to, you know, our little self-expression.
For enthusiasts, what was once a hobby,
this is our artwork. I call them art on wheels, yep.
Has now evolved into a lifestyle.
Our thanks to Yakenda McGahee for that report.